everyone, it's Di here from Diane, and this week I'm going to show you how I made this card. Now all of this is done with retired products. When I make my card for you today, it will be with products that are in the celebration catalogue, which ends at the end, finishes at the end of August. The only thing that will be retired out of what we're using is actually the oval framelets, which is such a shame because I love the oval framelets, but I'm going to be using them for this project. So I'm going to be using this stamp set. I'm going to use this iris, I think it is, flower. I'm not a big botanist or know much about flowers, so I think that's an iris, and I'm going to show how I did that because I've actually done part of the set. I've done one of my mechanisms here already, and I'm going to show you how I did this. So, and because the paper that goes with it, because it is a $180 free product in with a $180 order, and you get the stamp set and the paper. So I've actually cut out one of the irises from that paper. So that's done there, and this is some more of the paper. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that very, very pretty on that side? But we're going to be using this side because I'm doing mine all in rich raspberry. So I'm not doing any stamping of words whatsoever, because to me I'm just going to leave it plain because I'm not sure who's going to get this card. So I will do that at a later date when I've decided what. Now this card is done normally like this one here, right? When you open, oh no, this one here, sorry, this one here. When you open it up, one goes up and one comes down, like so. And to me, that's just, it doesn't stand up nice. You know, it wobbles around, and because when you want to open a little bit, this piece is trying to pop down. So I did my version with them both popping up, so that way you can open the card and they're still popping up a bit, so people can go, oh wow, that's really pretty, and yet it stands up nicely. So I'm doing my card this way for you, but if you want it this way, I have the instructions in my written tutorial, which will be on Diane for Stamping, Crafting and Tutorials, for both ways, so that you can go one up, one down, or both up like mine here is. So when I do my card today, I'm doing them with them both up because I just would like to do that way. I just find that, to me, as I said, it stands up much nicer. So that's the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to pop them out of the way for a moment. And first of all, I'm going to actually show you how I did this, because this is an distinctive stamp, and if you stamp it, it's only going to be one colour. So I actually coloured my stamp, and I will show you what I did. So I have one here already and one other one. So I've got to make sure that my card is up with the long side, and there isn't much in it. That's 2 1/4 by 2. So we want the 2-inch standing upwards. Now I'm going to use the back of this piece here, and I'm just going to show you what I did. So we're going to pop this on here. We're going to bring in our stamp. Now I'm going to be using my Regal's marker pens, and I have here rich raspberry and garden green. Oh, no, shaded spruce, sorry, shaded spruce, not garden green. So what I did was using the thick end, which is this one here. This is the writing end because it's got a narrow thing, so you can always check on these little things, but that's the easiest way to check. So what I did is I pulled the end off and I coloured just the flower with my marker. Now you can't do this with your alcohol blend pens. It doesn't work. You can only do this with the marker pens. So I just coloured just my flower using the marker, making sure that I've got a generous amount of ink onto it. It will dry a little bit, but we will fix that in a moment. This is not something you want to do on a really, really hot day though, I must admit. Like poor people in the UK and America at the moment. And the same for the green one. So we're going to just do the leaves with the green. Okay, once you're happy with that, what we're going to do is making sure we've got our piece of card around the correct way. I'm going to huff on it really hard to give it a bit of moisture, and then we're just going to stamp. And once we've stamped, we have our flower done. Now how clever is that? That's so easy to do, and I just thought I would show that to you before we start. So I have my flowers there ready to go. I've already done one mechanism, so let me show you what we need. Okay, for our main card we need a piece that is 5 7/8 by 8 1/4, and for the front we need a piece of designer series paper. Now I'm not putting a layer underneath this, but if you wanted to you could. I haven't written the layer on this on my tutorial because I didn't think it was necessary, because you've got two pieces of card on the inside and it's quite sturdy. So this piece here is 5 5/8 by 3 7/8 of designer series paper. Then for my insert you need two pieces that are 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. Now for your pop-up piece, these pieces here, you will need two pieces, and as I say I've done one piece, that measure 4.5 inches by 2.5 inches. Then you will need 4 pieces of card for that piece that measure 2 inches by 2.5 inches. Oh, that's 2 by 2.5. I don't think that's right. No, we don't want that. We want two pieces that are 2 1/4 by 2. I don't know where I got 2.5 from. So we've got two pieces that are 2 1/4 by 2 inches. So we want 4 of those. And I've actually stamped them ahead of time, as you know. And then we need 4 mechanisms that measure 2 by 2.5. That's where the 2 by 2.5 comes in. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this poster card together first. So we're going to score this piece of card on the long side at 4 1/8, using the small end of our stylus, because we are on cardstock and it's at 4 1/4. We're also going to score both of these pieces at the 2.5 inch mark. Now, as I've already done the other one, I've got to do that. So while we've got this card here, we're also going to score our 4 mechanisms, which I've already got 2 done, as you know, because I've already got them onto this piece here. But we will go through it at 1 inch on the short side. So that's all of our scoring done on the scoreboard. I'm leaving my score tool there because we're going to do some scoring by hand. So we're going to actually assemble our card first. So we're going to put our card together nicely with our designer series paper layer on the front, which I'm so sad to be using that because that's so pretty too, but it's going the wrong way for one thing, and well, it does go with that, but I thought it was too busy. For the project, not too busy in general, just for the project. So that's the front of our card done. Now if you often wonder why I do that, it's because it helps to spread the glue underneath out to the edges, because you can't always get right to the edge, and you don't want to glue right to the edge, because if you do and it does over spurt, it can make it look mucky. So we're going to pop our 2 pieces of of white card into the centre of this card. Our 2 insert pieces. Now you want to do both sides. You could do this with designer series paper again and then just put an extra layer on the front if you wanted to. But I just thought I would like to do mine this way. And I've done it that way on the 2 other cards that I had made as well. Okay, so they're all done and ready to go. So, as I say, that helps to spread the glue out and make sure that it's right on the edges. So that's our main card. I'm not going to decorate the front until we finish, but that's our main card. So let's pop that out of the way and we're going to bring back in our mechanism. Now I've already done 2, but I will run through these 2 with you all the way. So what we're going to do is we need our ruler and a pencil, and we've done our score line down the middle here at the 1 inch mark, and we're going to pop this in here and we're going to put a mark at 1 inch on both sides and 1.5 inches at the middle score line. Okay, so we'll pop that on again, and we're going to do that on the other one. We're going to pop 1 inch on the top and 1 inch on the bottom and 1.5 inches along the middle score line. Then we're going to bring in our stylus. Oh, just put my ruler back again. Let me put the glue pin in my glue. There we go. So then we're going to bring in our stylus and our ruler, and we're going to score this from this mark on the side up to the top centre score line, upwards. So we're going to do that on both sides. So we have our 2 score lines here. So it looks a bit like a house roof. And then from this middle dot that we put in, we're going to score from there down to the bottom corner. Now again, I have seen this card done so many different ways by so many different people that we all add our own little bit onto it. Now I've seen it done by Dawn Griffiths, Sam Colcott, and quite a numerous other people. So we're going to do that again from these marks here up to the centre, and from the centre mark down to the bottom corners. Oops, just threw my stylus on the floor. That was a bit clever. So we have our 2 pieces, and I don't know if you can see the score lines on that very well. So yeah, there you go. I think that's a bit better. You can see that we have our centre score line and 2 arrows facing the same way, making sure that we come into that 1.5 inch one at the bottom coming down. So now we're going to just remove those marks that we put on here, just in case they are showing. We don't want them to when we put our mechanism together. So that's that done. There we go. And what we're going to do now is we're going to fold this in half as a mountain fold. Oh, I didn't do that right on the fold very well, did I? This must be a bit wider. Doesn't matter. It must be a bit more over 2 inches, right? So I'm going to fold that onto the score line like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring this top one, the one that ends at the top here, bring it down to make an arrow, but don't go over the middle score line. We're going to bring them down on top of that like so. And then what we're going to gently fold these bottom ones inwards like so. Then we can fold that up like this, nice and tight, and burnish it down. Oops, turn over so that it's all nice and tight down like so. Alright, so we'll do that once more time. We have our piece here, and we're going to bring our top one down to the middle score line. Oh gosh, that scared me. Must be a ghost in here. And this one down. Now if they don't match up, that's not a big problem. You know, there's not like it's going to be seen. So we're going to pop them down there. And then we're going to pull this bottom one in like so. We're just going to press along the line so it comes in, and fold it inside like so. Don't know what fell on the floor over there, but there you go. So we've got our 2 mechanisms per piece. So as you can see, I've already done this one. So I've already stuck it on. So this piece here is our inside pop-up piece, and we're going to fold this in half at that where we scored it. Bring that down. Now for me, I like to put my little picture inside here first. It's just a preference. I find that it goes together just that little bit nicer that way. Let me just get rid of that squishy edge there, that's it. I just find that it goes together just that little bit nicer, but that's just me. Alright, so we're going to pop these in here, making sure if you are going to put them in, that you've got them up the correct way. I mean, at this stage it doesn't really matter until you put your mechanism on the back, but you do want to make sure you've got them up the correct way for which way round you're going to put them into the card. Okay, so we've got our little pictures inside. Now, you're going to need to, let me get this picture here. You're going to need to pop these onto here. Now, I'm doing mine both the same way, so these need to go with that piece here, which is like the valley of it, and the flat edge is going to go towards the top on both of them. Now if you were going to do the bottom one coming down, it would need to go down the bottom. Now because we're going to put, I want both of mine coming out the top, I'm going to do it that way. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in this valley here on both sides like so, and then with mine facing the correct way up, just making sure the picture is the correct way up, close the card piece and pop this on here right up tight into that and square here. Now I'm going to have to bring mine down a tiny bit because I'm going to just trim that bit off where I didn't cut it. It's quite square. That's better. It's not going to show then. That's it. Okay, so you've got it on square like that. It has to be square. So we've got our piece again, and as I say, it needs to go exactly the same way up as the last one. So in this valley section here, we're going to pop our glue like so, and then we're going to pop this onto here, butting that valley right at the back there where the crease is, up against the edge, and popping that on there, bringing it in nice and tight so that it's glued to the piece, so that when it's open it's going to go like that. Alright, so if you've got your picture in there and you're going upwards, this needs to be a valley in that piece there. If it's going to go downwards, it needs to be a mountain up there. So because I'm doing mine both going upwards, like this one here, upwards, you're going to see that there's a valley in there. You can see there's a valley in that piece. Right, so let's pop that card out of the way. Let's bring this card back in. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pop this into the card. So what we're going to do is we need to line the edge of this up with the edge of our designer series paper or insert paper here. So first we're going to pop some glue onto these little triangles here on one side only, and we're going to bring this in and we're going to bring that down to where it's lined up with the top of that paper there, and not over but close to that edge, and making sure that it's nice and square. You want it nice and square in there. And then we're going to do exactly the same again with this one. Now don't forget, if you're putting it that way, it would be that way up for a bottom fold, but we're going the same way, so we want these to be all the same way, so that that arrow is facing up if we're going up, that piece here. So we're going to pop some glue onto the back of this triangle on both of these. And bringing this in here again, lining it up with the bottom of the inner piece of card, but not over the line when we go in there, and bringing that down nice and tight like so. I'm going to push that down nice and tightly like so. Now we're going to pop some glue on all four of these pieces on this other side. Whoops. Once you're happy that they're all nice in there, nice and neatly, we can close that piece over and we can give that a nice good squish down there. Let me put the glue, the pin in my glue wherever the pin is gone. Oh, there it is. While we're doing this, so that it doesn't dry out. It's just getting quite warm in here today. So once we open this up, and be very careful because it takes a little while to dry it, they're going to both go upwards like this. Now, as I say, I'm leaving mine plain. I can always put another piece of writing panel on the back if I wanted to. And that's my card on the inside, working like that. While that's doing that, I'm going to pop these pieces onto the front. So I'm going to glue, I should have done this while I had the pin out, never mind. Glue my ovals together. Now depending on what you're putting on the front, depends on what size ovals, squares, circles, anything you want on the front. I'm going to lay this one flat and glue it down. As I say, because I'm not putting any saying on this one, we don't need to worry about that. I'm going to put it up a bit so that if I do put a saying down the bottom, you know, a greeting of some kind, I've got room to put it in. Popping my glue nip in the glue, grabbing some dimensions. I think there's only one on this pack, so let's pop that on the back. There's only a few on this one. This is that horrible pack again. Ugh. Let's get them out of the way. At least then we can go, yay, it's finished. No, that one's not going to come off. I'm going to have to pull that back off. There's one more on here. Oh, yep, that one come off. Put one of these small ones down in the stem here. No, I think that's a... Oh, we'll put one there, so I don't like things that might stick up. Yep, that's it. So let's pull these off and put them on the back. Put our flower onto the front here. Like so. I have some gems here. These are, I can't remember what they're called, but they are pretty. And I think they're still available in the catalogue. So, well, that's our card without any sayings, and it opens upwards that way. Oops, sorry, opens up that way, so it will stand up nicely. That's my version. As I say, you can do it like this one here that goes down and up, and I've seen this. It was Shrishti Patel that had done it this way as well. So, but as I say, and I've seen it done in 3 different sizes, in fact, and my size is different again. So this is my card. I don't mind that. I just don't like the way it balances on this bit in the middle here, this section here, because when it's open, as you can see, it's lower than the card. So when the card is open, sitting on the side, it's a bit funny where this one goes up and it will then sit up nicely. So that's my card for today, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe so you don't miss any more projects. If you would like the written tutorial for this, head over to Di's Den for stamping, crafting and tutorials. There you will find the written tutorial for this and all of my projects, and they are written in English with both inches or imperial and metric measurements. I prefer to work in imperial measurements, old school I guess, but there you go, easy enough to do. You could put a saying here, you could still sign in here if you wanted to, but you can put a writing panel on the back. This one I put the happy blooming birthday in the middle, and again you could put a writing panel on the back, and this one just says beautiful, but because of the way that goes up like that, you miss seeing it, so that's why I didn't want to put any words inside. Where this one, because it opens both ways, you can read what it says, so that's why I didn't want to put anything inside. And I don't know who's going to get this, so that's how it is, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.